Hello, in this session we will discuss about parallel reaction. In many instances, a single reactant can form multiple products in a parallel manner. Suppose a general reaction we will consider. Here A is forming B and C simultaneously. The rate constant for formation of B is Kb and the rate constant for formation of C is Kc. So if I will write the rate law expression for with respect to A, so the rate law expression will involve Kb and Kc, but A is decreasing with respect to time. A is decreasing, so the rate law expression will involve minus Kb A and minus Kc A, because the concentration of A is decreasing with respect to time. So my rate law expression with respect to A is dA over dt is equal to minus Kb A minus Kc A. If I rearrange, I will get minus some in bracket Kb plus Kc into A. Similarly, the rate law expression with respect to change in concentration of B will be Kba, because B is forming with respect to time, that's why it is positive quantity, Kb, and the rate constant is Kb, that's why Kba, and C, the rate law expression with for product C is Kca. Again, C is forming with respect to time. Suppose I want to know what is my A, what is my concentration of A after certain time T. So to know that, I have to integrate this rate law, differential rate law expression with, if I integrate that differential rate law expression of A, then I'll be able to know what is the concentration of A after certain time T. Further, we have assumed that at the zero time, concentration of A is A0 and A0 is not zero, means at the zero time there exists certain amount of A, that is reactant, and at the zero time the concentration of B and C is zero. At zero time concentration of B and C is zero, and at zero time only the reactant exists, and that the reactant concentration is non-zero. Under such assumption, we will integrate the rate law expression for reactant A to know the reactant amount or reactant concentration after certain time T. So that the rate law expression for A looks like minus Kb plus Kca. So if I rearrange the variables, I take the time variables to the right hand side and concentration variable to the left hand side, and I integrate. As usual, my integration limit will be A0 to A, because the initial concentration of A is A0 and after certain time it is A, and the time variable will be 0 to T. If I this kind of integrations we have done in first order kinetics, so if I do this, I can get an expression for my concentration of A after certain time T, and that looks like A is equal to A0 e to the power minus Kb plus Kc into T, means it is exponentially decaying with respect to time. Equation 6 gives an expression for reactant concentration after certain time T and how the reactant is decaying with respect to time. Similarly, if we want to know the concentration of B and C are products, and suppose we want to know the concentration of B and C with respect to time, we have to integrate their respective rate law expressions, differential rate law expressions, and if we integrate those differential rate law expressions, we'll be able to obtain an expression for concentration of B and concentration of C. Those expressions are written as depicted in equation 7. So if we want to understand the parallel reaction in form of a graph, A is forming B and C and A is decaying exponentially. So this graph shows that A decays exponentially with respect to time, whether B is forming and C is forming. Whether more B or more C will form, that depends upon the rate constant of the respective species. For this particular graph, it is assumed that Kb is equal to 2 Kc, means the rate constant for formation of B is higher than the rate constant for formation of C, and that is there is no doubt that the concentration of B at any time is higher than the concentration of C. So few important points to note: the decay of A occurs with an apparent rate constant equal to Kb and Kb plus C. We have seen in our decay expression for A, the exponential decay depends upon both Kb and Kc. It is a weight weighted factor of both the contributions, both the rate constants, that is rate constant for formation of B and rate constant for formation of C. The ratio of product concentration is independent of time. If we take the ratio of product concentration, that is concentration of B and concentration of C, we have obtained this concentration expression in our previous expression number 7. If we take those ratios, then the ratio of product concentration is simply dependent upon the rate constant, their respective rate constants, and is independent of time. In this ratio there is no time variable. The only factor that depends upon the ratio of the products is the rate constant. So more the rate constant of B, more will be B forming, more the rate constant of C, more will be C forming. So the rate constant decides whether B will be forming in a larger amount or C will be forming in a larger amount. Further, this ratio informs that as the rate constant for one reaction branches increases relative to the other, the final concentration of the corresponding species increases. As I said, if Kb increases, then B will be forming in a larger amount compared to C. Then we will discuss about the probability of the formation or the yield, the product yield of whether B or C, whatever the products are forming, what is the yield. In a parallel reaction there can be many products forming parallelly, so to know the product yield of different products we can find out the yield, and the expression for yield is given as suppose you want to know the yield of ith species, then phi I is the expression for yield or quantum yield, we can also say. The product yield phi I for ith species is equal to Ki. Ki is the rate constant for the ith species over sum over all the rate constants. Sum over all the rate constants means K1 to Kn up to whatever be the number of species that are forming. If we take the sum of all those rate constants, then we will get sum over Kn. So Ki is the rate constant for particular reaction, that is formation of ith species, and the denominator is the sum over all the rate constant for the reaction branches, mean all the branches we take the sum over. Then this whatever we will get from this ratio, that will inform about the yield of the particular product formation. Now to normalize the situations, generally it is taken that the quantum yield or total yield is equal to 1. So sum over all the yields is equal to 1. So this is a normalization condition. So maximum yield is 1, then from if maximum yield is 1, then the yield of all those species can be either less than 1 or equal to maximum 1. This is a normalization condition, that's it. For our example, in our graph we have mentioned that Kb is larger than Kc and Kb is 2 Kc. For this particular case, suppose A is forming B and C, and the rate constant for formation of B is greater than 2 times the rate constant of formation of C, then for such case the yield of C can be found out by Kc over Kb plus Kc. Kc over Kb plus Kc, and Kb can also be written as 2 Kc. So I can find out 1 over 3, and if I further solve it, I will get 33% yield or 0.33% yield for formation of C, and for formation of B I can find out 0.66 or 66% yield for the product B. So with this I will stop here. Next session we will discuss about consecutive reactions. Thank you.